Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Taskeen and I welcome you all on Homeopathy Musing. Today in our session of Musings in Dialogue, we have with us Dr. Preety Shah, Dr. Prajakta Vaidya, Dr. Kamlesh Kakde, Dr. Charuvahan, Dr. Chanda Shah, Dr. Reni Shah, Dr. Jyothi Udupi. And they've come together to share their knowledge and experience of solving and practicing homeopathy through different methods. And they are going to present some few short cases today. I just want to brief you through all these speakers. They've been associated and they've been friends for a very long time. They've given us basic course version 1 and version 2 with an aim and intention to spread their knowledge and experience of practicing homeopathy to the fellow homeopath. And with the same intention and to continue the learning journey forward, we've curated the basic course version 3, where all of the speakers will be reuniting and sharing their knowledge and experience. And our course will be starting soon on from the 14th of October, and it will be having 15 sessions. And I think with that, we can start with today's session. And I would like to invite Dr. Preety Shah to come forward and share her knowledge, experience in solving and practicing homeopathy through a short case. Over to you, ma'am.
Hi, Taskeen, and hello, everybody. Thank you for joining in. I see a lot of people are still dialing in. So before I get started, maybe I wanted to just spend a couple of minutes telling all of you about the gang that's kind of got together. So everybody knows about Prajakta and me. We've been practicing together. We studied together. We are two nutcrackers who've been together for a very, very long time. But I also wanted to spend a moment to kind of talk about Dr. Chanda, Dr. Reni, and Dr. Jyothi. We met, while we were attending Dr. Mahesh Gandhi's modules, studying PEM together. All of us, we were practicing sensation method, and Dr. Chanda had a lot of experience. Her experience from, I don't know, there's my video, is it lagging a little bit? I see.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know, what do I do about it? I hope it gets a little better. Okay, this is a mood spoiler. But I'm really hoping is it slightly better already?
Slightly, ma'am. You can continue.
Okay, I shall continue. I'm going to talk. I was going to tell a lot of interesting stories, but the internet should support me. So, what I wanted to say is that all of us, who are going to be the speakers today, we're not just colleagues or peers in the homeopathic world. While homeopathy was the reason we all kind of met and, but I think we bonded beyond homeopathy. We are very, very good friends and colleagues. Um, so the old team, the old gang was all the ladies together. But then we thought, why should ladies have all the fun, right? So we thought we should also invite, the masculine element. Okay, I just switched off my video so that, maybe you can hear me slightly better. So Dr. Kamlesh and Dr. Charuvahan also have joined the group here. And we hope today we are able to bring to you an interesting session. We're going to have a very casual dialogue. We're going to present some cases, share our experiences. So feel free to jump in, tell us what you think, what your queries are, and what your thoughts and how your practice is. Okay, so it's going to be a very, very casual session. So to begin with, I wanted to start with, what has been my journey in homeopathy and how do I practice the way I practice right now. Uh, and when I say this, I mean that, all of us started with our source books and, started with hardcore classical practice. I mean, that's what we were taught. That's what we completely believed in. And we put all our stakes in it, right? There was no doubt about it. All of us who are here today, we all did it. We continue to do it. Yeah. That's our fundamental, that's the pillar on which we built our practice. However, as time passed by, we got exposed to a lot of different tools and techniques in practice. So when I and Prajakta was studying, in the homeopathic school that we were in, we were introduced very early on with the ICR method. So, so we had a very detailed case taking and history taking from family history, medical history, the maternal history of the patient, the paternal history of the patient, and we used to go back down to first cousins and second cousins from that perspective. So it was a very very detailed history and analysis that we used to do, which kind of really what do you say? Uh, it sharpened our fundamentals. I then got, introduced to. I was actually assisting Dr. Praveen Jain in my internship. So he comes from the Vijayakar school. So I got introduced to, that idea and that concept in practice. I was then introduced to the sensation method. I had the privilege to assist Dr. Tejas Shah, Dr. Paresh Vasani, and it was a big wow factor for me, as a young student. I was really, really lured by that way of homeopathy, and it was amazing listening to Dr. Sankaran, Dr. Jayesha, Dr. Joshi that time, Dr. Dinesh. We attended a lot of their seminars. And then I had a very, very close friend, Prajakta and I, who used to assist Dr. Milind Rao at that time. So in our OPDs, we used to all sit together, discuss a case, and all of us assisting different schools, these different masters from different schools of homeopathy. We used to share notes and kind of also defend each other's, kind of homeopathy we used to practice. So uh, that's how I started. And a few years back, I got exposed to Dr. Mahesh Gandhi's personal evolution method, Yaki's, subclass method. And very recently, along with Dr. Sankaran, I studied, uh, the superclass method, and I was personally trained under him for the wise methodologies, etc. So, one common factor throughout my homeopathic career and journey was the openness and the willingness to study different concepts and different ideas from different teachers. Some resonated with me, some did not resonate with me. Um, and I also realized that why I needed to do that, why I needed to constantly learn, why I didn't feel that whatever I learned that was enough, and that's how I'm going to be successful in my life and in my practice. I realized that my patience, yeah, my patience ensured, they kind of persisted, one after another, I got difficult cases and some easy cases also. I was not able to kind of, sometimes I would struggle. So each case needed somehow for me to be a little bit more flexible, a little bit more creative in the way I deal with them. So, for example, when I was studying and practicing sensation method in its deepest form, I used to try and take every patient to the level of energy and sensation, and my case taking was, 2 hours, 3 hours long. And sometimes I would struggle because not all of my patients would kind of assist me. And that's how I tried another method, and I tried to speak to another friend or a colleague or read another book. And so the idea is that at this stage of my life, when I look back, I realize that my practice is not completely sensation practice. My practice is not completely classical practice. My practice is not completely from a PEM perspective or a super class perspective or whatever. It's such an integrative practice. My left brain and my right brain, they work in such tandem that I am unable to say that what kind of homeopath I am, like what school I belong to, truly. And I can say, and we've done this analysis, with the team at the clinic. When we look back statistically, our results in the clinic have gotten better. The confidence with which I know that this patient is going to get better has increased manifold, and the consistency of results has also increased. So it's not like one hooray case and then a lot of failures, waiting for another fortnight for another successful case. It hasn't been like that. The consistency of results also has kind of increased manifold. So my practice has been really in the hands of my patients. They have kind of taken me in the direction in which I am right now. Um, so I wanted to give you some case examples, and of how this integration of different methodologies have helped me. So rheumatoid arthritis, it's one of, for me, it is one of the indications or one of the diagnoses which is a fairly bit more difficult than the rest of the diseases, or let the rest of the patients that I see, because it can be debilitating. The pain is extreme. A lot of times these patients are unable to leave the medications they currently are on, steroids, methotrexate, or whatever, if it's just the beginning NSAIDs. So it's very, very difficult for them to leave them. The pain is very debilitating, and sometimes it can be very fast paced, this illness. So just to give you examples of 3 cases, all the 3 cases had rheumatoid arthritis. All these 3 cases had small joints affection. Um, and we have so many remedies which are very, very well known, very, very peculiar, keynote, therapeutically indicated for rheumatoid arthritis, especially pain in the small joints. We have Actia spicata, we have Abrotanum, we have Colchicum. These are 3 very, very important remedies for this kind of affection. However, all these 3 remedies, while belonging to the plant kingdom, are completely different in terms of where they are on the plant chart, in which subclass they belong, whether they are less developed in terms of their evolution, or they are most developed. Actia spicata and Abrotenum are dicotyledon plants. However, Colchicum belongs to the Liliflorae family, which is in the monocotyledon chart. Actia spicata belongs to Ranunculaceae in the first subclass. It's the extreme left of the subclass chart. So the ego development is the least. Yeah, it sits along with remedies like pulsatilla. It sits along with remedies like Staphysagria and aconite. Abrotonum belongs to the 6th subclass. It's in the King series, at the very top, and it has a complete different feel to it. Um, and Liliflorae, the remedy colchicum, on the other hand, belongs to the monocotyledon group of remedies in the 6th subclass. So while if I did not have the understanding of how to navigate the subclass chart, how to navigate the evolutionary ego development of each patient, um, how to understand these remedies or this development perspective from the lens of superclass, even, what are more feminine remedies, what are more masculine remedies, what is the inner age from the perspective of Eric Erikson. For example, Acta spicata is almost school age, ranunculales. So it's the age group, the inner age of these remedies is completely different from as against to that of abrotenum, for example. It belongs to the infancy and early childhood, toddler age group. So if I didn't knew these ideas, I would never be able to prescribe, individualize these three cases and prescribe these three remedies constitutionally, not as keynote, not as a pathological remedy, but constitutionally. How many of us know about Acta spicata? What is the mind picture of this remedy? How many of us know about abrotenum or colchicum per se? Very little information or literature is available. So when we understand these remedies, we understand our patients in a more holistic way, from different perspectives. I think it just enhances our practice, it enhances our results, and it gives a lot of satisfaction to us. Um, so yeah, these were my 2 cents, and I don't know if uh, any of the other speakers would like to add anything on this or expand on this. But if not, then Tusky, maybe we can go to somebody else at this stage.
Sure, ma'am. I would like to invite Dr. Kamlesh Kakde, sir, if she can come forward and share something about your practice in homeopathy and how to solve and what approach do you use.
Sure. Thanks, Dr. Daskin, and hello everyone. So basically, as Dr. Preeti said, we all
So your
started.
voice is a little.
My voice is not audible. Is it breaking?
No, it's audible.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. So as Dr. Preeti said, we all started our practice as a hardcore classical practitioner, and we used to use repertory Matra Medica very frequently, and our practice. Yeah. Can everyone see me now? Is it okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, a prescription used to based on Matra Medica repertory and organ concepts of organ, and it was going very well. But if basically what we do in homeopathy, we try to match symptoms of patient with the symptoms of medicine, and it should not be superficial at superficial level. It must be in deeper level. But if any patient with any pathology or any symptom is sitting in front of me and I have to match medicines, then I have to select among more than 10,000 medicines. And for an average brain like me, it is very difficult task to select medicine among that more than 10,000 medicine. How to do this? So here comes the role of contemporary methods. Why we need classifications? Why we need uh, superclass method or tools basically? Why we need these tools? So basically, these tools guide us and don't let us go in random direction. This guide us in a particular direction so that we should not miss the basic core of patient as well as core of medicine and of match. The errors are very less. So, for example, now we are using five finger methods of Dr. Rajan Sankaran, and in these five finger methods, we focus on basically five different aspects of the case. That is, first is superclass, second is kingdom, third is miasm, fourth is characteristic, and fifth one is keynote symptom. So basically, when I take any case, then I have to look for all these aspects of in that case as well as symptoms of the case. So system and symptom go side by side. So I have to observe both of these things in a given case. Let me give you one short example. This is the case of 54-year female patient, and she was suffering with right sacroiliitis. And as Dr. Preeti said, sacroiliitis, rheumatoid arthritis, these are very chronic cases, and they take a lot of time to give response. And it is very difficult to stop allopathy or their regular medicines, painkillers and steroids and like that. So these cases are considered to be quite difficult to treat. So this is, let me confess this to you that I have edited this case very much because we have very limited time, and this was case of 1.5 hour, but I have to explain in only few minutes. So please bear with that. And RA factor of patient was positive, CRP was raised to 32.9, ESR was raised to 43. And when we, but we don't match symptoms or pathology with the medicines. But what we try to do, we try to understand the patient in depth. So we asked patient, tell about your symptoms, and she started explaining that I had this severe pain in the right thigh, and it is continuous type of pain, but it is more during day. And this continuous word was coming again and again, that my symptoms are continuous, my nature is okay, let it, these symptoms are not going to cause any harm, but this will be there, and I have to accept these symptoms. I have to accept this pain. So we know from this that pace of disease is kind of continuous, and uh, it is going to be there. So we could understand from this. And it aggravates during weather changes. So pain was aggravated during weather changes, and she was taking a lot of painkillers, but previously they used to have some effect, but nowadays, since last few months, even painkillers could not help. So she was quite worried about her pain. She was afraid of the side effects of painkiller. So it was very difficult situation for her. And when we asked, we try to understand what is the effect of this disease on you. So she explained that if any guest come to my house and if they see me in this condition, they will feel bad. So she said like that. And in my entire practice, I have heard this for the first time, that if guests come and they will see me, they will feel bad after looking at my condition. So this was quite strange for me. So what we can understand from this is that she is so sensitive that even when others, what others will think about me, she is worried about that also. She was worried about, I cannot do my household things, my routine work, and my family members has to suffer because of that, because I have to do these household works. So she has this anxiety for others, not about her own pain, but anxiety for her others, that they have to suffer. And this pain was so severe and so continuous type of pain. And she has to bear this pain. She has no option. She started weeping. She started weeping while narrating her symptoms too. So she is so sensitive, so touchy. And unfortunately, I cannot give my pain to anyone. I have to bear this pain. So it is going to be there. This pain is going to be there. This is repeating again and again. So we have to observe these things. I am, what is her nature? We asked about her nature. So she said that I am very reserved with strangers. And I am very sensitive to for my closed ones. If they get hurt, and what do we mean by hurt? Hurt means if anyone says anything bad about them. So this is what hurt means to her. Hurt is not injury, hurt is not anything accident or no. Hurt is just a bad word. So she is so sensitive. And I'm very emotional. I get very anxious easily. And this anxiety is aggravated, especially at night. And I am sensitive when someone blames me. But how I react, I cannot answer back. So this is the kind of person she is. We asked about her childhood, and she added that she was not bold. She was very shy, and I could not used to go alone out of my house. I was very dependent on my parents, and I was very dependent on my family members. I used to hesitate to go to new and strange places, even to schools or even to market. I could not go alone. I have to depend upon my family members. So she didn't have dream, she desires spice. So this is the case. And what we can observe that she was so sensitive. Everything and anything was too much for her. And she could not go. So means she could not react, she could not do anything for this. And so this is not the whole case. This is actually very edited case, but I just put few points in front of me, you, and please bear with me to understand that how is her nature overall is not revolting, but very timid, shy. And this indicates that this is too much for me. I cannot bear this. This indicates superclass 1. And she's so sensitive. This sensitivity and reactivity indicates plant kingdom. Her pace is of psychotic miasm. And along with this understanding of system, we have to look for symptom. If I may allow to share my screen. Yeah. So these are the rubrics I consider, and it clearly gives indication for pulsatilla. And after prescribing pulsatilla 200 with LM0/6, within 3 or 4 days, she started improving. And when she came for first follow-up after 15 days, she was out of any pain, no pain at all. And now I am following this patient since almost more than 1 year. And she has no recurrence of pain, no need of repeating pulsatilla anymore. Just the one dose and few couple of repetition of LM. So basically, what is the idea behind telling this short case is that we can prescribe even common remedies in difficult pathologies with confidence when we consider classical and contemporary methods together at the same time. When we kind of synergize both of these concepts together in a given case, then our confidence and surety of result is much more higher than using only one part, only system or only symptom. So this is the basic idea, and this is what we are trying to explain what Dr. Preeti, me, and other teachers also. They want to share this thought that when we do, when we think with both of our brains, then the results are fantastic. We can even prescribe common medicines with more surety. So this is the thought. Yeah, yeah, Dr. Taskin. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for a short and brief explanation. I would like to invite Dr. Reni Shah to come forward and share her experience.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So even I would be sharing some of my clinical experiences today with all of you. Like when you passed out, you are filled with all the knowledge of Hahnemannian classical homeopathy, and we have that hot blood. No, you remember that. No, I'm going to practice and I'm going to solve each and every case coming to my clinic, and I'm going to give 100% result. But when we start our practice, we realize that it doesn't happen. And that's when we start searching for new tools around us. No? I was privileged enough to attend Dr. Shankaran's OPD when I was in second year of my studies here in CMP college. And since then, like we had the seeds of contemporary homeopathy in our regular sessions, like every week, one lecture by Dr. Shankaran and attending his OPDs twice a week. Has really put that seed of finding something different, understanding patient from a different perspective has really helped us to come to this level in our practice. Then many other teachers have added into it, but Dr. Shankaran was the main starting point in my career, where I started drifting away from the main classical, but and started adding this contemporary method into my practice. So whenever you take a case, no, the format always remains the same. When patient comes, patient only tells you which kind of case taking it will be, or what type of prescription it will be. Like you are going to repertorize the case, or you are going to prescribe only on some very specific keynotes, or somewhere patient may connect to the source directly, and you give that remedy. You don't even look into materia medica sometimes. So that is the way we have developed our own practice, by learning from different masters. It has not come within a day. It has come over the years of our attending different teachers' lectures and putting that into our practice, and reading all the new books and all the new literature coming out in this homeopathic world. Not only in India, outside India also, we have some really excellent homeopaths like Jan Scholten. It was a breaking path of understanding that periodic table. Like when I think I remember I was in third or fourth year, and his seminar was there, and we attended that seminar on that periodic table, and it was like a wow, like a completely different perspective of understanding the entire periodic table. It was really, and after 5-10 years, Dr. Shankaran coming up with understanding of the plant kingdom in such a beautiful way, like through sensations. So all these small new inventions by all these great masters have really helped me in my practice. Like I would like to share one of my old case. If I recollect, maybe that patient is with me more than 20 years now, and routinely she had come for her joint pains, and they were like just simple muscle spasm kind of joint pains, and some on and off getting cold cough, and I think don't recollect many other chief complaint, but her children were with me before she came to me. So we do observe, no. So when the person whom you know who comes to your clinic for her own treatment, you have some basic information that this patient is like this, because she has given the history of both the children. So I knew a little bit about her, that she's quite perfectionist. Whenever the child is not well, she would always call me, ask me questions, take her advice, and little bit of acute type of patient she was. Like she always wanted things to improve very fast. She would get little more anxious if the child is not getting better. Some informations were there, some information she gave, that I have got this joint pains, and what if I have got her marriage was a little late marriage. So she said, when I'll grow almost 60, my children will be 20-25, and if I get crippled, who will look after my children? And we are not financially that stable that we are able to give lot of things to this our children. They are not asking, but it is our duty to look after them. So what will happen to my children? Lot of other things I think I had taken into history, and I found that yeah, she's worried about roti kapda makan. She looks like a mineral kingdom, and maybe a row for remedy. So maybe in 2004, 2005, when she had come to me, I started giving her some mineral remedies. I must have changed multiple remedies. Like I gave her Kali Kaap, Calcarea Kaap. For every acute, no, then when the patient comes regularly, no, sometimes then you go into that prescribing on acutes also. So for throat, I would give her Rustox or Bryonia or something like that. Like, and every time patient would improve, because you have come to one totality, you have come to one remedy for that state, for that acute state. But her anxiety about children, her anxiety about money matters, her anxiety, she had some issues with husband. Like husband used to he had a big debt. Like he had borrowed some money and he was unable to repay. So people used to call, and that used to upset her a lot. And husband would lie to her, and she would come to me and scream that no, I just cannot take this side of my husband. He has to be conscientious enough. He has to. She should be answerable. What sanskar I'll be giving to my own children. So that way, she was very firm in her words and her behavior. So, but in every patient, no, when in our own clinic, no, everything is very different. Sometimes patient come, they take medicine for 1 or 2 months, they get better or don't get better, and they leave you. But some patient, we all know, like patient like Kali, no, Kali patient, they don't leave you. So she was with me for years. And I myself knew that I have not touched her core. Something is missing. I'm not able to give her the right remedy. So then that crisis came, and I many a times know this crisis takes you to the correct remedy. So what this happened with me. Can I share my screen, Taskin?
Yes, ma'am, you can go ahead and
So can you see?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this was just the acute phase of that patient when she developed herpes. Herpes, we all know, it's an acute condition which need immediate treatment. And I think her father or mother, somebody had a herpes, and she had asked me, and I had treated him. Within a week's time, no, herpes had disappeared. So she knew that homeopathy is the only medicine which has a very good cure for herpes. So she had that 100% faith on me. So she came to me, and that was in March 2018, almost 14 years of the treatment. Like I was like a family physician to them. The entire family is with me. So anything happening, they would come to me. So it started with some initial eruptions and lot of pain. So you give those common remedies which are there for herpes. Started with Rustox, then Bryonia, then Ranunculus bulbosus, and different potencies, and some other few remedies. Like every second day I would repertorize, and her herpes just kept on flaring and flaring up, and it worsened so much that she developed secondary infection. But she was waiting for me. She said, if you want, I can still wait. I don't want to take allopathic medicine. But I only insisted, now there is a secondary bacterial infection. Better you take some allopathic medicine. So antibiotics and antiviral medicines, everything was given. And she took a little longer, like almost it took 1 month for healing of those eruptions. But her neuralgia continued, like with neuralgia, which was the first symptom to start with, that just continued. And we always claim, no, homeopathy has best results in homeopathic neuralgia. So she again called me, like, do something for my pain. I'm completely sleepless. I'm not able to sleep. Like sleeplessness was a constant symptom from day one, which continued even after all the eruptions dried up. She was given heavy painkiller. So this time, like after giving all the allopathic medicine, also she was asking me that give me something. My pain is just not going. She was taking Ultraset 3 times a day, and still her pain was very severe. So then I thought of giving her herpes zoster. Hmm. Sometimes we incorporate all the methods, no? So here I thought, let me go and give her something, a nosode, which is specific for herpes zoster, and which had helped me in few patients in past, like patient with herpetic neuralgia, just 1 dose of herpes zoster and the neuralgia had disappeared. So this was my experience. I gave nothing, no result. So this rubric I must have seen 100 times in the book. Like Fatak has this rubric, neuralgia, shingles after. Causticum, caliclor, calmia, miserium, plantego, prunus spinosa, ranunculus bulbosus, variolinum, and zincum. So I had this beautiful rubric and these 9 remedies. So I just started thinking that which one to give, where does my patient fit among these 9 remedies? And that's where my knowledge of contemporary homeopathy helped me. I started thinking about the patient, that how my patient, I always gave her Kali, Calcarea. I think once I had given her Baraita, or in acutes, Rustox, Bryonia, arsenic. But most of the time, what I remember, she was around this roti kapda makan, that the mineral, fourth row of the mineral. So out of 9 remedies, there are 3 remedies of row 4. Which which 3 are they? Causticum, calichlor, three remedies of row 4 mineral like causticum, calichlor, and zincum, and 2 remedies from subclass 5. So from the Yakir's plant chart, we know that subclass 5 corresponds to the row 4 of the mineral chart. And there are which two remedies from this row 4? Miserium and Prunus spinosa. So I had given her many mineral remedies. So then I thought, let me read this 2 remedy and then find exactly which one fits her. Let me see that. And then I read that remedy from Yaki's book. And then I realized that my patient fits completely into this remedy of called Pruna spinosa from Rosaceae family. So I started her with 200 potency. And first time after for that first dose, she said my pain is little better. And I immediately jumped to 1M potency. Actually, I didn't have. So I ordered it and I got it next day. And I started 1M every 6 hourly. And she started improving very fast. All her painkiller had stopped within few days and she became very normal. Eruptions dried up. Even the discoloration which was there, no, it started fading up slowly, and she responded very well. So what were the 404 qualities I already mentioned? She was always worried about her children, security, money. So you see lot of school age, right and wrong, conscientious. So where do Pruna spinosa fall in this chart? It is the 5th subclass, Rosids family in Rosales. And all this understanding of this chart, this plant chart and the animal chart will be done in the upcoming course. If you are not aware of any of this chart, these new charts, you all must join an upcoming course where we will be talking in much detail about all these columns and all these rows. I said, no. Even though in the previous case, when Dr. Preety also mentioned something about school age and ectia spiccata ranunculosi remedy. Here, the 5th column also falls into school age and a womb stage. And the beauty of this Pruna spinosa in this case, till today, it is 2024. Whatever happens to this patient, I have to give her just 1 or 2 doses of Pruna spinosa. Like in between for a year or two, so she didn't need any remedy. During Corona, she just improved within 1 day. Her fever also disappeared. Everything disappeared. She's doing private tuitions. She's very popular in her work. Like she's overfilled with the students. Her issues. So she started making money. She started earning money. She stopped coming, like her complaining nature improved a lot. There was a one very peculiar symptom about her. Whenever she would come enter, no, she would be always very laughing and giggling and all. And I could never understand that symptom. And when I searched into repertory, you can see that rubric. Cheerful, extremely cheerful. In so much of suffering also, no, she was always laughing, and that I could never understand. She's complaining about her husband, she's laughing. So repertory is also very important tool to understand very small symptoms from the remedy. I wouldn't have been able to understand this part of cheerfulness. Only Yakir explains this, and let's understand this little bit. The remedy has specific affinity for congestive states, migraine, chest congestion, heart problems, The physiological conditions were an expression of the emotional one, with intense feelings, always in hurry, falling madly in love, experiencing harsh disappointments. So this pruna spinosa remedy comes very, very close to natramure. Experiencing thorny side of love. Their very naive perception of human relationship and yearning for love may get easily disappointed in relationship. But unlike Netramure, they do not tend to draw back and give up. There is a permanent emotional bubbling. The proving shows an initial state of cheerfulness and excitement that gives way to melancholic feelings caused by disappointment and suffering. Now, after reading this, I had given her this Pruna Spinoza because I could really see that though there was lot of hurt, she used to really feel that why my husband is doing that. She was very, very positive. She was always emotional. She was always bubbling. I think herpes was the time the crisis has started. If this herpetic neuralgia wouldn't have treated, she would have gone into this other side of feeling melancholic due to this disappointment and suffering. The pains, sufferings and disappointments causes complaints, discontent, frustration and despondency. They feel as if they are invisible to others and their joy of life disappears. They tend to become indifferent to joy, unwilling to work, melancholic and depressed. They have difficulty in thinking and feeling because of severe headache. They become restless, unable to stay in one place, aggravated by touch, gasping as if climbing on the high mountain. They come into cruel, harsh world with delicate and naive essence that is transformed into prickly nature by multiple disappointment. This is so beautifully written by Yake. And this is why you really need to go beyond classical homeopathy. You need really go and learn whatever new development is coming in homeopathy. And once you understand the remedy from this perspective, no, it is amazing. The depth of the remedy. Bruno Spinoza is not that well proved. There are very few symptoms in the entire repertory. See this 3 to 4 slides and the symptoms get over, mind symptoms. And what Massimo writes, great sense of duty, hurry, haste tendency, indifference, apathy, pleasure too. Restlessness, nervousness tendency. She was restless, no? Whenever the children used to fall sick, she would be restless, very nervous and anxious. Sympathetic, compassionate, misfortune of others greatly affected by. So this is what I want to convey to this group of participants. Many of them are already aware of this method. Any question? Anything you want to ask? Somebody asked about previous slide, but I don't know which slide that person asked. So Taskin, we can go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for presenting the short case. I would next want to invite Dr. Chanda Shah to come forward and share her experience or a case if she wants. Ma'am, are you there?
You are muted, Chanda. Can't hear. Chanda, you are muted.
Can you try now, Chanda?
Yes, ma'am. You can
Yeah,
speak now.
okay.
You are
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Okay, so let me share my screen.
Yes.
Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll start. Okay, so this is a case of inflammatory arthritis, palindromic rheumatism, hyperuricemia, rheumatoid factor, and anti-CCP negative. Okay, so palindromic rheumatism is a rare condition where symptoms like those of rheumatoid arthritis, that is joint inflammation, pain, and swelling, they come on suddenly and then disappear also suddenly. So it's a rare type of inflammatory rheumatism, inflammatory arthritis. So this is the case of my helper, okay, who has been with me since past 20 years. So he's almost like a family member to us. And he would get pain and swelling of his fingers, knees, toes, off and on since the past 12 years. And I couldn't find his constitutional, okay. So I sent him to three other homeopaths, but there was no relief. So this person said, your homeopathy is not helping me. Okay, it's not working for me. You take me to an allopath. Okay. So I took him to a rheumatologist, okay, who gave me this long diagnosis. And he put him on Etoshine, HCQS, Xyluric, and sulfasalazine. Okay. So my helper took it for a year or so. And he would still get periodic attacks of swelling of and pain in the joints. And because of the potential side effects of all these medicines, he had to do liver function test and eye checkup every 3 months, which he found a little bit cumbersome. Okay. Then after 1 year of treatment, he asked the rheumatologist, okay, doctor, how long I have to take these medicines? So the doctor replied, how you take BP medicine forever? These medicines also you have to take forever. Okay. So after this, my helper just stopped his medicines abruptly. He's saying, I don't want to take these medicines forever. Okay. So I told him, what's your problem? I'm paying for the medicines. Yeah, just take it now. He said, no, I don't want to take. I said, listen, you'll end up with some deformity. He's saying, I don't care, but I don't want to take any medicines forever. Yeah. So then what to do? So I took his case again, but I didn't get anything concrete. Okay. So I gave him mercury, causticum, abrotanum, conium, Actia spicata, Hiparsulf, and many more. Yeah. So then in February this year, he went to his village to get his daughter married. And he came back in March. And he came back with edematous swelling of both the lower limbs, dyspnea on exertion, and hypertension. Okay, so I was very alarmed looking at his state. His blood pressure was 170, 110. So I did all his investigations and his uric acid was little high and cardiogram showed query left ventricular hypertrophy. So the doctor told him, now you take Telma H once a day, which is a antihypertensive. But I know again this guy won't take any medicine lifelong. So again, the ball was in my court. Okay. So I had to do something. So the like a sort of an emergency, okay, because I had to do something fast. Okay. So it was like something like do or die for me. So I just took the rubrics. I took all this pain, rheumatic joints, pain, knees, right, then uric acid diathesis, pain, rheumatic fingers, pain, rheumatic wandering, pain, rheumatic periodical, swelling of the lower limbs, hypertension, and respiration difficult, exertion aggravates. Okay, so I took all the physical rubrics only, which were there. Yeah, because in spite of he staying with us for so many years, I could not figure out his constitutional. Okay, then from all these rubrics, I decided, okay, my medicine has to cover these 5 rubrics for sure. Yeah. So then these were the 5 rubrics I decided. Swelling, edematous lower limbs. Okay, the swelling was like that pitting type, below the knees, both his legs were swollen. The lower limbs and the feet also. And pain, rheumatic joints. Then uric acid diathesis, hypertension, and respiration difficult, exertion aggravates. Okay. So then I got all these remedies. Pulsatilla, Kalikab, Kalmia, Lycopodium, Sulfur, Sepia, Galcaria, etc. Okay. So again, I was thinking now, what do I do? What do I give him? Okay. So when I was repertorizing this case, this patient, he was talking to his daughter-in-law on the phone. and he was actually shouting at her. He was like boiling with rage. So I asked him, what happened? Kya hua? So he said she had taken a 1-month-old baby daughter on bike to a temple which was 30 kilometers away in the hot sun. Saying, how can you take such a small baby in this blistering heat? Okay, how can she do this? Like, he was really mad at her. And he told her, कि उसका एक नाखून भी टूटा ना तो मैं छोड़ेगा नहीं तुमको. Okay. So that he meant that even if one tiny nail of the baby is affected, no, I won't leave you. And he further said that his son and daughter-in-law, they don't respect him, neither do they listen to him. He said, I'm so tired of them, I'm going to throw them out of the house. And he said, what house I've built is my own hard-earned money from doing hard labor. Okay. And I'm going to throw them out because they're not listening to me, neither are they respecting me. If they don't live nicely, then no point in keeping them together in the family. Okay. So then I looked back at the repertory chart and suddenly I knew what to give him. Suddenly everything came, like it was like a eureka moment. Now I found his remedy at last. Okay. So I have selected a remedy from the plant kingdom. Okay. Now, some of you may not be familiar with the plant chart. So it is similar to the periodic table. The same funda is there. Okay. So subclass 1, like plant chart is divided into 6 subclasses. Subclass 1 is like the first row of the mineral chart. So it is like hydrogen, helium. Okay. Subclass 2 is like the left side of row 2. Subclass 3 is right side of row 2, which has, oxygen, nitrogen, fluorine, all those remedies. Then subclass 4 is like row 3 of periodic table, which is like natrium, magnesium, aluminum, etc. Subclass 5 is like row 4 of the periodic table. And subclass 6 is like row 6 of the periodic table. And in the periodic table, as we go from left to right, the person is undergoing, is getting more and more mature, more and more grown up. Whereas in the plant chart, it is like this. From above downwards, like this is the womb stage, then you come to the anal stage, then early childhood, school age, adolescence, adult, and old age, like this. Okay, so this is a little difference with the plant chart. Okay, so I decided to give him something from the subclass 4. Okay, so subclass 4 is like the row 3 of periodic table. Okay, row 1 is whether you exist or not. Row 2 is the process in the labor in the mother's womb. And row 3 is the baby is out of the womb, right? So the mother breastfeeds the child and nurtures it till it becomes independent. So main is the relation between the mother and child and mothering itself. So this subclass 4 is also called the nutrition line. Okay. So child begins this stage of development by being completely dependent on his mother, like how natrium, magnesium, how they are dependent on the mother. But by the end of the subclass, he has to learn to separate from his mother and go out into the world. Okay. So the 4th subclass is a time for emotional maturation. So the initial rows, they want to remain attached to the mother and family, like how natrium, magnesium are. And as we go down the rows, there's increasing desire to detach from the family, like how we see in phosphorus and sulfur. Okay. So the late rows now, they feel stuck with family responsibilities. They want to be free of this and manifest themselves in the outer world. Okay. Now, this is the inner age in the subclass 4. I'm not going to teach it now because this we are going to do in the course, which we will be taking. So just I'll give you a brief idea about what this subclass 4 is about. So first is the womb stage. Here they are not ready to be born and they're not ready for motherhood also. Okay, so the common remedy here is hypericum and thea. Then we come to the oral stage. Here we have all those carnivorous plants like Drosera, Sarracenia, etc. So these plants, they grow in nutrient poor soil and they have to consume insects for food. Okay, so not only their basic needs are not met, but they have to struggle for existence also. Okay, so all this leads to feeling of mistrust, betrayal, and trap. Okay, which we know which is there in Drosera. Then we come to the anal stage and the early childhood stage. Anal stage is when they want to be in control, and the early childhood is where they're very playful and curious, but they are unable to initiate their own goals and tasks. So both these are represented by male whales. Okay, so if you know the sensation method, The main sensation of Melville is what? Detached, joined, and separated. So there are all issues with parenting, no? The mother may be like overprotective, or mother may not care, and mother wants to abandon the baby like chocolate. Then we come to adolescence. This is the turning point in the column where the child wants to step out in the world, but it has fear of growing up and taking responsibility. So this sense of responsibility, it paralyzes them and they feel guilty. So common remedy here is cyclamen. Then we come to late adulthood. Okay, now they take up adult responsibility. Okay, so subclass 4 it covers 3 orders. First is cucurbitales, which has remedies like bryonia and colocynth. So these people are very hardworking and there is excessive giving to the family. Okay, so the giving is not for in the form of love and care. Okay, it is for they want to make a lot of money for their family. Okay, and they can get very angry and bitter if there is no reciprocation from their family. Okay, so this guy also my helper, he does a lot of hard work. Okay, and all the money he makes he sends to his family. So initially I had given him bryonia also, but it didn't really help him. Then we come to the next order, which is ericales, which has remedies like rhododendron, kalmia, and ledum. Okay, here also they do a lot for their family and they get bitter when there is no reciprocation. They feel rejected by others and they work very hard to be accepted, but they feel isolated by their family. So physically, in this order, it is manifested as stiffness and rigidity of joints. And there's a tendency for rheumatism and cancer. Okay, so I've given my helper Kalmia from this. Kalmia was coming up in the repertory chart. And over the years, I've seen him doing a lot for his family, not only for his family, but for his extended family also. So I thought he's a over-responsible person, and I thought he's maybe from subclass 6 or row 6. So a lot of row 6 remedies I've given, like mercury and given some naxamica and causticum, that those kind of remedies I've given. Yeah, but I failed. And the last is the cruciferae family. Here they don't want to, they are fed up of family obligations and they want to do more for others in the world. They want to give up on their family. Okay, but they don't have the energy to do it and they feel stuck in this phase. And the last is salicase. Okay, so to my helper, I gave him Kalmia 30 BD for 1 week, followed by 0/3 for 1 month. Okay, and within a week his edema disappeared. It was like magic. His blood pressure also became normal, 130/80, and blood pressure is normal till date. Okay, and in the past 6 months his fingers also has swelled up once only, and overall he is doing fine. Okay, so the GP where I took him to, he said, for a short time you give him Telma-H, let his blood pressure come under control and then you start a homeopathy. I said, no, nothing doing, because I was confident. First of all, it came in the repertory chart, and then with my knowledge of the sensation and the personal evolution method, I was 100% confident that this remedy is going to work. Okay, so I did not give any blood pressure medicine, and I decided, okay, this is going to help him for sure. I was confident. Okay, so, and finally I managed to get some respect from him. Okay, otherwise he would say your homeopathy is no good. Yeah, so that is what I wanted to share. So only repertory doesn't work. We have to do sensation method. We have to learn personal evolution method. Okay, so this is my message for all of you. Yeah, so
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, I'll stop sharing. Yeah, okay.
Thank you for sharing this case with us. I would now like to invite Dr. Prajakta, if you can come up and share any of your case or your experience in practicing homeopathy.
Yes. So good evening, everyone, and we saw very nice experiences and cases of all these speakers, right? So for me, I think Preety had elaborated about our journey and how we evolved and in our practice, and what has really helped us. Just to summarize, is to keep learning. because I think that is the most fundamental thing as a homeopath that we should do. And I've seen that in our masters also, like with, if you see with Dr. Shankaran sir, he came up with sensation method, then he evolved it to say synergy method, then he came up with the 8 box method, then he came with the super class understanding, then he came up with again the 5 finger method now. And this happens with all the masters. They evolve with their own understanding and with their own patience. And I think that is the subtle thing that we also have to learn as a homeopath. And with what all these speakers are talking about, I just want to uh, give you this short case which had taught me a lot of things. And it's a recent case, like almost 1.5 year back, when me and Preeti, we were getting trained under Dr. Shankan sir for his Gurukul course, and a lot of other his methods and his concept were getting introduced. And this case, so has, I think it's an amalgamation of everything what we are talking about. With this case, I've used the super class concept, I've used the PM concept, I've used the Yaki's plan chart, I've used the kingdom concept, and also I've used the repertory. So I think this is the best case that can demonstrate this. Okay, so this was a case which was referred to us by a homeopath. Okay, it was her mother's case, and she was a known case of schizophrenia, very challenging complaint when she spoke to me about it, and other chronic complaint like diabetes and hypertension and all of that. The main complaint was, when she came to us, was more of her this joint pains. So she had a fracture and she was operated for it, and she was unable to perform her normal day-to-day life functions. That fracture was not healing very well, and her movements and the heaviness, the pain and everything was too much. And that is how she approached us. And also, along with this kind of a complaint, what she had, her mental state got aggravated, which she was already like having the schizophrenia as a main complaint. So that is how we saw her, and we know that in this case, what I'm going to get more the details only from the daughter, like her homeopath, and maybe we'll not get much of the information from the patient. So I had to put lot of attention to get what that doctor homeopath was talking about. So she said, she had a fall, and this typical modalities of aggravated by motion. If she stands for a long time, there is a neuralgic kind of a pain, and swelling and legs pain and all of that. Along with that, she had this sleeplessness, and almost every day the sleep used to get interrupted after midnight, and she used to not able to sleep at all. And her mind was very, very active and very restless. At this moment of time also, she wants to be occupied and do her work and all of that. When she was trying to do that, and energy was very less that she had. And this, so I thought to get to some history about this fall, how it happened. Okay, so she said that the fall that happened was very sudden. Okay, so somehow she was kind of running, and she saw someone in the window, and with that kind of vision, or that kind of experience, she started feeling very scared and started running, and she fell down. And then when she fell down, there was a fracture. She was unable to get up, she was asking for help and all, and a lot of fear that came up. After this, she became very irritable, angry, and she kind of shouts a lot, she's very violent, and also become more aggravated, this abusive kind of a nature. She's very sensitive and fearful that she become. And then the state got aggravated. She feels that somebody has done some black magic on her, and she got this fall also because of it, or and her recovery or from this fall is also getting slow. Why? Because there's somebody who is doing this black magic, or somebody is, that she's possessed by somebody. And she also connected to something like, in the past, in the in-laws family, when they were not in good terms with it, and she used to feel that they are something doing to me, and because of that, I'm not feeling better. And that is the whole state that she persistently having about this fear and violence and abuse and being this delusion of being possessed and black magic. So this gives an understanding of, the fear and the sudden kind of a fear that came up. It gives some understanding to us, which is very important, because this is an chief complaint that she's talking about. Along with this, if you have to understand, Dr. Kamlesh was saying, what that person is, we have to understand that how that person is, even if in this kind of a case, what kind of personality she is. So I asked her, what is the nature? Because that, how Dr. Gandhi also says that, asking just person nature will give us lot of idea about the personality. So she says she's very dominating. You cannot talk, loud in front of her. Her mood swings are there. If she's in good mood, she will talk nicely and everything. But if she's not, then she will be become very abusive, violent, and kind of aggressive. Then she said that she's very religious kind of a person. That if you see in her room, there are multiple frames of these gods that you can see. And she has that belief that some of these goddess steps have come in the house, and she's kind of very lucky to have that, and she kind of prays to God and kind of read the books, religious books, entire day. What she does is the same thing, and it got confirmed when I spoke to the patient. Her room was filled up with all these frames of gods and different kinds of religious people. Then she also feel that she's not talking to the neighbors, because she doesn't allow them to come inside the house, because that time also she feels that somebody has done this black magic on me. Very impatient, kind of very scared of loud sounds, and in the kind of a rage that she had, she can even hit the other people. She cannot tolerate contradiction. Other side, she's very sensitive. If she's in good mood, she will help people. Anything, somebody comes, like the maids and everything, they come with their stories and all, she'll feel so like compassionate for them, and she'll help them in money or anything like that. Then she had it's a very strong personality. She was the one who used to do everything in the house, and now she's on the bed. Very talkative, very religious, can't stay alone. She's very scared of dark. So this kind of a thing, gives an understanding what kind of personality she is. Very dominating, strong personality, gives an idea of something who is more developed, right? Which is, so I'm looking at a personality at a level of this, the other side, the right side of a chart, of any chart, of a mineral chart or a plant chart when I'm looking at it. Okay, fifth subclass or a sixth subclass, where the people are very strong personality, right? She's very upfront, if you have to say something to her. People are also scared of her. But she also believes in these ghosts and witches. She feels that they are guarding us, and they know the kind of religious activity that she does. But she's very, very connected to the family, and she's attached to the family a lot, but blames the husband a lot. And she feels that he's the one who had made me do things, and not supported, not kind of helped or love that she got from him. Hmm? And very superstitious she is. This was the history that I got from the daughter. Then when I spoke to the patient, she was just talking about the pain, make me feel better. And I want to run fast. I want to do things. I don't have time to sit. I want, to do things in my kitchen and get better. That was the main thing. And I asked her that, your daughter was saying about this religious thing. Yes, I believe there in a lot. I believe in this witches and ghosts a lot, and I, have my practice also like that. I do religious stuff a lot. And morning there is a lot of anxiety, restlessness is there, and I like cleaning a lot. Fear, I have a lot of fears of dark, of being alone, death. These are the main fears, and craving. I thought you have anything, if we can get something out there. She said, yeah, specifically she said lemon is something which I really like, but at times it aggravate my joint complaint. Fish is also like, and very impressing dreams of temples and snakes and nightmares and animals. So this is what a case that I had, from the patient and the daughter. And I think in this case, I used my understanding of all these contemporary methods where, I thought that this is a more of a sensitive nature, everything she's sensitive about. So use this kingdom classification to understand this is a more of a planned kingdom. If it is a planned kingdom, then where she falls, where the Yakir has explained about these, as Dr. Chanda and Dr. Reni were saying, that there are these classes. Okay, so which classes that she falls in, and it's more of the six subclass that we can see in the this kind of a case. Then we see more of six subclass, but at the very scared of fear. A lot of fears are there, and these fears are of dark, and it has a connection with the other world and witches and a lot of black magic. And we see that there is a lot of fear in this kind of thing, where plant kingdom we gives an hints of a Solanaceae family, which is in the sixth subclass on the above level, that is in womb stage. Okay, the solanales fall. And then I saw a lot of repertorial kind of a rubrics which can fit into it. So she needs company, she has a dreams of clairvoyance, contradiction ailments from, then delusions of these devils which are possessed, imagination which are religious, a lot of fear of these witches. And along with that, the chief complaints of extremities and swellings and legs and all. Okay, with all these things, I came to an understanding of the plant kingdom with six subclass and the Solanaceae family. But I also came to know, and I could observe the themes of six superclass over here, where it's the main of it's something relate to the key themes are of injury, key themes are of fear. There's something which is happening very suddenly, and the reaction to it is of either you fight or you flight. So that kind of understanding also I could see in this kind of a case. So with all these understanding, I came to the Solanaceae family. And in the Solanaceae family, if I would have thought, I could have just given stramonium to it, right? Because it fits and it gives a lot of understanding of stramonium to us. But in the repertorial sheet, if I just have to just quickly share my screen, maybe I'll just take some. Okay, when I see this, if you can make out with all these repertorial chart, if you see company desire, all these rubrics which I said, the main remedy which was coming up, just covering almost all the rubrics, was mandragora. Okay, mandragora is also from the Solanaceae family, right, with the leprosy mayas. And she had that kind of representation. And I, with a lot of confidence, I gave mandragora to her, and she improved a lot. Her almost entire complaint, not only the mental state, but her physical complaints also become better. She started going out. Her thought of this religiousness has also been at a at a decreased level. The delusion, the perception that she has, the fears that she has. So it was a wonderful case and journey for me to see how confidently I could prescribe and then to see the results. Right. So I think with this, I just want to say that whatever we learn in these contemporary methods, along with our classical understanding, it will help us to get the better results for our patients.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your case and your experience. And there was a slight disturbance at the end. So, anyway, I would like to invite next Dr. Jyothi. If you can come up and share your experience or a case, briefly something about your experience in practicing homeopathy.
Hello.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. Once, it was announced, the course was announced, I got lot of queries from people I know and some other juniors and all. Why should we do this course? That is a question, no? We are graduated. Some were PG, MD students, and they were all asking me why. So I told them why, because you have learned only few remedies. There are so many new remedies which have come up in homeopathy, which you are not aware. So that is the reason you have to learn new drugs and new tools to practice. Because what you have learned from your college is not enough. So you have to learn new things, so learn new methods. Second is who should join. See, all these small courses, no, basic courses, people will think only juniors who are just passing out of the college should do. Not necessary. I remember in one of the seminar, one participant who was sitting beside me was, I think, with the 10 or 15 years of experience. So, I think you have to make it as speakers, this, I think. So she was asking me, she had all three charts in her hand, and she was asking me, where is the lycopodium in this? With 10 to 15 years of practice. So people who wants to know new, anybody who wants to know new things can join this course. Not necessarily it is only the juniors. Third is some people, as usual everywhere, they'll say, ma'am, it is a money, it is difficult and all. So very intelligently, our Dr. Preety and Prajakta have done this in, festival season. So this year, don't buy all that unwanted gifts and dresses. You invest on this course. Don't eat pizza this festival. You enroll for this course, or you sponsor to your friends, or whoever wants to do, who are really interested in learning new. So this is done during festival season with this intention also. So I think whoever genuinely want to join, no, don't buy unwanted things in this festival. So now I will share something. Yeah, give me just a minute. Make yeah. So why PM? Many people were asking, because we nowadays, I use personally a lot of PM method for difficult cases. So I am more focusing on PM method, importance of PM method. So we all know what is PM, personal evolution model. We all take the journey from incarnation to death. That we all know. And every one of us is stuck at certain point. Maybe at the womb, person who is 50 years old talking about fear of ghost and fear of this, people used to laugh at them before. But once we are now equipped with all these tools, no, we are respecting. Okay, tell me it is okay. It is nothing to do with your age. Whatever symptom they give is helping us to decide which column and which row, irrespective of the age. So we want to know where they are stuck. If 50 years old patient says, I can't sleep alone in the dark room, then we say maybe patient, most of the times it is patient is in a womb stage. If 8-year girl says, I am tired of this the life, I have seen so much, then we think it is a old age. I am just giving you example. The issues belonging to that point are there from birth to death. So we have to decide which is the core issue, which is the essence. And with this both understanding, we have to select only one simillimum. So as many of you know, we have a map in mineral kingdom, but after, we were thinking only mineral kingdom in this evolution method. But after Yakir introduced, with the help of Dr. Mahesh Gandhi's teaching, we are also using plant kingdom extensively. And it has helped us in many cases, from the small case to the psychiatric case. And also we have an animal kingdom map, a chart, which is done by Dr. Mahesh Gandhi. When I say all these things, it may take some time to understand. So I have made a small attempt for all of you to understand what is PEM. All of us take case for, some take for 10 minutes, some take for 2-3 hours. Other than chief complaint, patient give you so many other symptoms. You don't know where to put other, set of symptoms. You'll be wondering, I take only chief complaint, I repertorize, I give you medicine. Sometimes it works, but in many cases it may not work. Such cases, they come back and again say, ma'am, I am better, but again it has come back. If you want to give patient total recovery, you have to think something beyond all these things. So for such cases, PEM help. So what PEM, how it can help for pathological cases also. So I have taken one example. Go to repertory and see rectum cracks, fissures. Because I assume many of us have lot of such cases in our clinic. Because homeopathy is famous for fissures, piles, corns, warts, which other system doesn't have much scope. So taking a common symptom, rectum cracks, fissures, you all know so many drugs are there in the repertory. What I did was, I restricted that to only a plant kingdom, rectum cracks, fissures. So I got one set of, remedies. What I did to understand more PEM, so this is a PEM plant chart. Many of you know. You just see this. And I did one empty, chart where 6 columns are there. 1 minute. And we have 9 rows. What is this? And to know more about, you have to join a course, because in 10 minutes, we cannot teach you everything. But just I made this and I took some drugs from the plant kingdom and I put it in this chart. Sorry. So from this, I could see each column had one remedy for anal fissures. With only repertorization, not considering other symptoms of the patient, if you prescribe, there are chances that patient may not be 100% all right. So there is a hydrastis, you all know, great cancer remedy, but it can also be used for anal fissures. That belongs to Ranunculaceae family. So column 1 issues with the symptoms of anal fissures, you can prescribe hydrastis. Similarly, phytoloca. And usually how in the beginning homeopathy was taught to us many years back, that there are 2 fever cases in the clinic. One patient wants fanning and other patient doesn't want fanning. Similarly, in anal fissure cases, we see some patient will hesitate 100 times. We have to request them. I want to see the part which is affected, because I want to know whether it is piles, fissures or fistula. Please show me. But there are some patients who are so reluctant and shy. But Phytoloca patient, they will not see who is there in the room. They will just raise and their dress and say, doctor, look at this part. Do I have piles or a fissure? So these all understanding, you will know only if you know PEM. Why do Phytoloca patient show like that? Why column 1 patient are hesitating to show? All these things you learn only if you learn this art. This can be done only joining some courses. All these things will be taught. What are the rows? what are the columns, and some cases we have beautiful, cases from very good practitioners in this group. So you will learn lot of things. So I urge, it is a very good platform and very good opportunity for all of you to join this course and learn. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your kind words. I would now like to invite Dr. Charuvahan sir, if you can come and share your experience or a case or emphasize on how to practice homeopathy.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So, with all those essential points, what my colleagues and senior practitioners have shared with you now, I just want to add a few more things with my journey in homeopathy. So, my journey in homeopathy luckily started with Dr. Rajan Shankaran's concepts. So, I entered into the college with this bit of homeopathy book. So since day one, I have been reading and following Shankaran's books and methods continuously. So I started my practice after completing the BHMS course with traditional method, organum, materia medica, and repertory. So during those days, we used to visit many practitioners' clinic and we learned many varieties of prescription, case approaches, and everything. So this gave us an inspiration and confidence in starting up our practice. So this is how I started my practice, and slowly I learned the methods in traditional things like LM method prescription, using of different varieties of repertories. So this was one strong quality which made me to practice homeopathy in a very correct manner. So one of my teacher, Dr. Srinivasan, he trained me with all those repertories. Like I started initially with H.A. Robert sensation as if repertory, then Boger synaptic key, then nerve repertory, then Bonninghausen's characteristic repertory, that is BBCR. So I used to practice all those repertories for years. So for instance, if I for sensation repertory, I practiced with only sensation repertory. I used to reproduce all those cases with H. A. Roberts sensation repertory for 1 or 2 years. So like that, I used to practice each repertory for 2-3 years consistently. So which gave me a strong foundation in my practice with repertory. So this organal, materia medica, and repertory, or these three things are always an essential tool for our practice. So we can't neglect this at any point. So whatever the method we used to learn or should be an complementary to what we have learned with the traditional and the basics. So when I try to practice with this traditional method and these repertories, at one point I realized that the remedies what I am using were only those polycrest. Those remedies were repeating again and again. I was facing some difficulties with uh, the case management and everything. So at that point, I just turned my practice in learning new methods. So I was concentrating on, I used to learn every method, but this Shankaran's teaching was very close to my heart and it seems to be more complete for me and easier for me to practice. So I choose Dr. Shankaran's method and try to learn the method and applied in my practice without neglecting the fundamentals. So I used those learnings as a complementary thing in my practice, which gave an very successful result in my practice. So one book that turned my practice is the Synergy of Homeopathy by Dr. Rajan Shankaran. So where he uses both the system and symptom in an integrated manner. So I adapted that method in my practice and I had a good result by applying those learnings, especially the Boger synaptic key. That was the basis, the genius. So this is how I developed my practice slowly, and recently with the learning of the superclass method with Sankaran in Gurukul had made my practice more easier. So as long as in my journey I have been learning in depth with the repertories and methods and keep on adding up my learning, integrating everything into my practice, had just taken to me to an easier method and made me to understand all the methods very easily. So the point which I want to insist is learning a method should not be an trap for you. So you should not get trapped in any method. Okay. So this was one great advice given by an homeopath to me. So you should be always be flexible. So when this flexibility will be adapted is that when you are very strong with the basics. So you should be very clear in what you are doing. That is organal, materia medica, and the repertory. So with this conceptual knowledge and this method learnings, so how can be integrated in your learning? How it can enhance your learning process? So for example, the contemporary concepts and methods will make you to understand a remedy in different aspects other than the traditional aspects. So for example, if you take a remedy like argentum nitricum, so what could be your traditional learning of argentum nitricum? Any answers? So when you think of a remedy argentum nitricum, so what would come into your mind with the traditional learning, with proving materia medica, with keynote symptoms? Yes, anticipatory, row 5 performance theme. Yes. So when we think of argentum nitricum, the keynotes which comes to our mind is, yes, examination funk, anxiety, fear, claustrophobia, anticipation, diarrhea. So all these are the proving symptoms or the keynote symptoms which comes into our mind. So we can take rubrics like mind, anxiety, anticipation, ailments from mind, fear of high places, mind, fear of narrow, small places, mind, fear of failure. So we can take so much number of rubrics which will have more number of remedies which is similar to argentum nitricum. So, but when you try to understand the argentum nitricum with the conceptual learning, which means that system learning, which is like with the themes of rows and columns. So how you can understand the remedy? So when you just look into the periodic table, so argentum nitricum falls in the fifth row of the periodic table, right? So the fifth row is understood as the row for creativity, and performance. So, actually, this argentum nitricum is a combination of two elements. One is argentum, which falls in the fifth row of the periodic table, and the other one is nitrogen, which falls in the second row of the periodic table, right? So when you look as a combination of these two concepts, so the nitrogen, which is in the second row of the periodic table, which is understood as the separation. So nitrogen is like the, the first three rows of the periodic table will be um, matched with the process of labor and the child development. So at this process, the nitrogen is a process where the child is passing through the womb in the narrow canal, and it has to come out and it will take the first breath. So when you see the periodic table, after nitrogen, there will be oxygen. So after that, it is totally separated from the mother. So the fluorine element will come. So when you understand nitrogen in this aspect, so passing through a narrow tunnel, which is a very difficult and dangerous task, the child will be experiencing something new, a danger kind of feeling. So that gives more anticipation with the nitrogen element, which we see in the argentum nitricum. So the argentum is more towards the performance. So the argentum nitricum will get an anticipation, a fear, an intense fear, which is expecting a danger when he is about to perform something, when he is about to do something, where he has to prove himself on something. So this is how the anticipation, the fear, the claustrophobia of argentum nitricum can be understood in depth with the concept understanding or the understanding of the method. So the second point which I want to stress is by learning the concepts and methods, when you try to integrate it with your previous traditional knowledge of materia medica, so this will make you to understand the remedy in different aspects. The known remedy can be understood in a very deeper level with different aspects. So understanding a remedy is very important in homeopathy, where which you are going to match this with the understanding of the patient. Okay, so how different, how clear you are understanding a remedy will make you to understand the patient very clear. So your case taking process should be at a deeper level, so that you can understand both the patient and the medicine at a deeper level. So this is the second thing why you need to learn the conceptual side of homeopathy or the concepts and different methods. So this is one thing which I wanted to stress. So when you look into rubrics, you can see some interesting rubrics with the argentum nitricum, like you can see the mind, delusion, imagination, rooms, walls will crush him. So this is a kind of a danger where he cannot escape, but he has to escape. So this is an intense situation which will make the patient to feel like an argentum nitricum. So this is a single remedy rubric of argentum nitricum. So it's a danger. He wants to escape. He cannot escape, but still he has to put lot of effort to escape from that thing. So this one rubric entirely depicts all the aspects of argentum nitricum, like the keynote, anxiety, fear, claustrophobia, everything, and also the superclass nature, which atoms wants to escape from the danger. So a perception of threat, danger. So the concept of superclass learning make your practice very easy in understanding the patient. I will give you an example of a case where recently I had a case of a lady who is suffering from menstrual irregularities. Before that, she had a kind of ectopic pregnancy twice, and she has underwent many surgeries. So she has got a tumor in her uterus. Then later they have made surgery for the tumor also, but again the tumor had recurred. So this is the situation of the case. So when the patient attempted to describe her symptoms, and she was very worrying about worrying about her condition, health condition, where she has undergone repeated surgeries and she is having more emotional imbalance. She doesn't know how he cannot concentrate on her work, he cannot concentrate in her family, he cannot concentrate on her children. So this was her main issue, emotional issue with the complaint when she was describing it. So when I proceeded with the case, so she just moved on into her more mental state like. So she was not liked by her husband. Her husband is not carrying her. Her husband is not loving her. So I am not very attractive to him. I am. She's. So he, since the husband is not carrying me, I am longing for love from others. So I have been falling in love with someone. So this makes me more disturbing. So this is at one point she was explaining all this emotional state. So any idea of remedies you can get from this case? Such in this with this information. Okay, natrum mu. Any other suggestions? So with this kind of information, we can get many remedies like natrum mu or some other thing like sepia. So any remedies can be thought at this point. So when I just try to probe further more into the case, so the case just opened up with, yeah. So case just unfolded like she had a lot of abuse in her child age. So there were some sexual abuse also. People were abusing me a lot. So they are using me. They are using me for their own sake. And after that, they are just leaving me. So everyone in the street now. So everyone are looking at me as a servant. They are not.
Hi,
They
Dr.
are not.
Charu. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I'm just being a little conscious of time. So
Okay.
if you can try and wrap up in the next 1 minute, please. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is what the case unfold like this. So everyone is looking at me at a different thing. So at this stage, the presentation was little bit different with the previous thing. So again, when we go deeper into the case, the patient was telling about all these things are making me to not to be a good mother to my children. I want to take care of my children. I should concentrate on their growth. So all these cases just unfolded step by step where you can see the all the themes of superclass 4 with this case. Yeah, guilty feeling. So, which is right and wrong. So she's not emotionally stable. She's more attached with her family. She's worrying about there is no stable mental state. So she was keep on struggling for this stability with her emotion, family, and everything. So this confirmed me with the superclass 4. Then with these themes of abusing, They are looking at me at a different manner, so looking me down. So all these are animal theme. This me versus others was very clear in this case. Then they are neglecting me. I am dirty. I am abused. So all these are with leprosy mayasam. So which all indicated to the fourth superclass, animal kingdom, leprosy miasm, with the theme of the mother, child care and everything. So the patient got lac caninum. Yes, good. Lac caninum was prescribed to this case. So with the keynotes confirmation, so she had a history of increased milk secretion after pregnancy, and she had a lot of issues with her menses with breast pain and everything. So all these confirmatory symptoms with keynotes and everything indicated lac anemia. So when lac anemia was prescribed, the patient was having a good response with lac anemia. So the point here is, so when you learn the method, so you can be more sure and more confirm with your prescription with all these five fingers like superclasses matching, animal, animal kingdom, the leprosy miasm, the keynotes of lac caninum, and the theme of lac. So everything comes together, which makes you so grounded with your prescription, and you can be very sure. Okay, so this is the reason why you need to make your learning with a balanced integration of both the methods and the traditional thing.
Yeah,
So
I
this is
think this was excellent, Dr. Charu. Thank you for sharing. And in some way or the other, it's each speaker, I think, in their own way, with their own journeys, uh, are kind of trying to come to the same point, isn't it? We are kind of trying to nail down to the same point, that, to be more inclusive, to be more integrative, and kind of adapt ourselves and holistically integrate different methodologies in your clinic for higher chance of success. I don't know, Reni, if you wanted to kind of add something at this point.
No. I think message has been sent.
Reni's like, okay, it's time up. But I don't know, Chanda, Kamlesh, Prajakta, any
Message has been
thoughts
already
in
sent.
terms of, or when listening, to others, and their cases and their journeys. I think, for example, we had a few of us who were kind of focusing more on sensation and their journey with sensation and superclass, while some of us were, more focused on PM and our journey with different repertories and characteristic symptoms. So I think, I don't know if anybody had some last thoughts.
What I
Yeah,
always
so
feel, your patient always tells you that which method you have to follow.
Yeah.
That is what I always take. When patients start speaking, no, sometimes they just come up with some weird words, and you might go to the sensation level, some words and some gestures, or sometimes they're purely into talking about their career, and also then this PM method might help you. So every patient, no, patient decides what
But
he
that
wants.
is possible when only when you are ready with the tools.
Yeah, but you should know the tools.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dr. Kamlesh, you were saying something.
yeah, so basically we are in the war, and as many as armaments we will have, we can fight in a better way.
What does that tell about Kamlesh?
I really like the idea of Jyothi that don't buy anything for yourself this Diwali. Just buy gift.
Yeah, that was
Make
very
it
unique and nice.
Give
Yeah.
yourself the gift of learning, no? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, on a very serious note, if there are any challenges, any genuine challenges for you to invest in yourself, in your learning and your growth, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, because all of us here, we are committed to, helping and supporting our homeopathic community we share, we give each other, we walk together. So if there's any difficulty, don't hesitate to reach out.
Reminds, no, the first basic course, Preeti, how like we had decided, no, we'll be doing in the minimum, and I think we had
we had close to, I think, 100 people joining the first basic course, and a lot of them were on scholarships. So I think it was a phenomenal journey.
But one more thing I want to say, don't be scared of acutes. Okay?
Yeah, don't be scared of acutes.
Anyone with high blood pressure, diabetes, hypothyroid, जो भी है, just accept it and do it as a challenge.
Yeah. I have to share a personal experience with Dr. Chanda. So my husband recently had dengue. Dr. Chanda was treating him for that acute. She was focusing so much on characteristic symptoms and peculiarities, etc. But she was also focusing on inner age. So even in that acute, her prescription of the remedy was determined with what the inner age, what the mental characteristics of my husband was. So which was very, very interesting. Don't be scared of acutes. Even acutes, you can use a lot of these contemporary methods and practice successfully. So that's true. Taskin, at this moment, before we close, can you just flash our schedule for the course? And if you see, it's a 15-day course. It's on twice a week, if I'm not wrong. And we're going to start, for some of you who joined Kamlesh, Charu, me, and Prajakta on the classroom to clinic course, that was, for beginners, people coming fresh out of college, giving them exposure to practical nuances of clinic. This is a little bit of advanced from that perspective, because just zoom it a little bit, Taskin. There are people like me who find it hard to read. So this course is, basic of advanced methodology, contemporary methodology. So as Dr. Jyothi was stressing, anybody in the first basic course, I had somebody who was, more than 30 years of practice, into practice. So we're starting with the basics of sensation, levels of experience, case taking, kingdoms, the modern miasms. We're going to spend full 2 days on the personal evolution model. Then we'll just give you a glimpse of superclass, just the basic concepts, the foundation of it. And then we'll spend with each kingdom several days. So we're going to do a lot of these charts, individual charts of the plant, animal, and mineral kingdom, and try and understand all these charts through patients and case examples, and all the concepts of the sensation, PEM, superclass. Dr. Jyothi will, with her tremendous experience with nosodes and sarcos, she's going to talk a little bit about that. And on the last day, we'll do a little introduction, just a peek into the chakras, which is the latest concept by Dr. Mahesh Gandhi. Just little introduction, like a trailer, so that you can go and study this a little bit more in detail with sir. So this is the plan. We're starting on the 14th of October, very, very soon. Please do join us. And if there are any questions, Dr. Taskin and Asmita are here to help you. With that, we had planned to do this dialogue for 1 hour. But in the true spirit of homeopathy, we've extended it. We've doubled the time. So we let you go. Thank you for your patient listening. And thank you, Taskin, for hosting this for us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye,
Take care.
everyone.
See you soon.